Hey Scorpio, your July 2023 reading. Let's start with some good news for you. The South Node of the karmic past for the collective and of course in our individual birth chart is leaving the sign of Scorpio. It's been there transiting through your sign for the last year and a half, and it will not transit through Scorpio again for another 18 years. So consider this. Everything that's felt like karma, a test, a challenge, a loss, that is settled now, and you won't be dealing with those heavier themes of what you owe, what doesn't work out, your perceived failures over the last 18 months, again for a really long time. With every step that you take after around the 18th of July, it's more about activating what you want to happen in your life and making, utilizing your free will, which you always can, versus what's felt like it's been out of your hands. It's been more karmic. It's been a little heavier. That's all changing now in the month of July. Let's look at what's coming through on the tarot for you. The lunations this month, the full moon in Capricorn on the 3rd of July and the new moon in Cancer on the 17th of July are making both a sextile and a trine to your Scorpio placements. That's very helpful for you. This month you're going to feel ease and help around letting go of things that have already been like permanent in your life for a long time and now they just don't serve anymore. That's the Capricorn full moon trining or sextiling your Scorpio bits and bobs. And then with the new moon in Cancer trining your Scorpio placements on the 17th, well, that's going to be allowing ease and harmony and new opportunity flowing into your life around what feels good for you. The Sun card, let me lay out these cards and talk you through them then one by one. We have the Eight of Wands and the Sun card, a trip to the sun, greater sense of freedom, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. We also have the Three of Coins in reverse. We have the Five of Wands. We have the Ace of Wands. So that's great to see a opportunity coming through around the 17th, 18th of the month for you. Something new, something exciting, something that you really care a lot about at the time. The Eight of Cups is also here. So is the Six of Coins, and so is the Faith card. This is often seen as the Hierophant in many decks. The Queen of Coins. The first card out, the Sun card, that's great to see as the signature theme for the month of July. It speaks to blessings, it speaks to inner child play, recreation, freedom, letting your hair down, kind of exploration and travel. It can speak to heat and sunshine, so that could be something that you're looking forward to experiencing this month. But it definitely can look at themes of visibility in our life. So this would tell me that whatever you're doing this month, people want to hear about it. People are zoning in on you. There could be increased popularity or recognition around your work or your play, what you're doing for fun. People are very interested in knowing all about you this month, Scorpio. But this would suggest, especially with the Eight of Wands, because I guess we're seeing like freedom, flight and fancy. What does that mean? But it's coming into my head. This scene here, the valley and the mountains, this looks a little bit to me, or at least it reminds me of the view that I would see if I'm riding the train upstate New York, and that looks like the Hudson Valley to me. That always feels like quite pleasurable. It's always enjoyable. It feels like an escape. So perhaps there is a great escape awaiting you in July. For some of you, this is going to be a trip or a overseas or a train ride or going somewhere on a commute or driving somewhere that feels very liberating, and it could feel like something that you've wanted to do for a really long time. But the Eight of Wands is also about kind of expression. It's a conversation. It can be about selling something, commerce, and those other mercurial kind of things that we do and engage in life. So you could be selling a product, selling a little part of yourself. I don't mean that in a way where you are diminished in any way. It would be just showcasing what you have to offer to the world this month, putting yourself out there a little bit more on display, and essentially kind of saying to the world, like, look, this is what I have to offer. Do you want this? Overall, we're talking about travel, visibility. We're talking about the information you're sharing, a spotlight on that. We're talking about vacations, trains, planes, and automobiles. We're also speaking about blessings and things that you do for fun, and games and sports and hobbies and things like that being a big theme for the month of July. So that all sounds great, doesn't it? Okay, let's keep going. So then there's the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. For some of you, you're already aware of a setback around one of these themes that come up in July. Because the Wheel of Fortune is in reverse, we're tending to see things as being a little bit of bad luck, or, oh, that didn't work out well, or it's a break in the sequence of things going really well for us. And oftentimes when there is contraction or a broken sequence or just some misfortune or a perceived failure, like we were talking about the failures in your karmic past or over the last 18 months, what you were perceiving to be something that didn't go right, but now you're going to start to see why that was, or at least you'll see it from a different perspective where you think, okay, well, I think it was meant to be anyway. That could be where this Wheel of Fortune is coming through for you. You're already noticing what hasn't worked out for you and what might even be continuing to be a little difficult for you at this time, because you're still quite conscious of it. But soon enough, because the Queen of Coins is actually upright at the end of the month, you're going to be able to see it from her point of view. That has helped you grow, and that has actually kind of supported the fertile soil, I guess, from you to grow more from, or to plant new ideas, new seeds and things like that. So it was all kind of for a reason, even though, you know, you may be still focused a little bit on the setbacks that you've experienced. For some, these setbacks are coming to be around a cancelled trip, cancelled plans. Basically, this could also be like launch dates or release dates being held back and suspended. This could look like delays on your merry way when you're trying to enjoy yourself. You could lose a game, a competition. It's something that you're already aware of. It's happened or it's going to happen, and it's not going to take you by surprise, but you're still quite focused on things that have gone wrong. So the Three of Coins in the reversal in the subconscious, this is actually not just a sequence from this lifetime. This actually goes back to past lifetimes too. If that's not your thing, this could just be something you've noticed more than once as somewhat of a pattern in your current lifetime. Upright, the Three of Pentacles, things are going really well. They're forging ahead. They're having green lights. Things are successful, things are moving. Mars is about action and energy. So you're building really well and actually quite skillfully. But in the reversal, we're seeing some mediocrity. We're seeing a little bit of that perceived, I hate the word, but failure, but because we only really are failing if we're not learning from our setbacks. But that is really, it's getting in on you, Scorpio. You do seem to be still quite focused on what hasn't gone according to plan or as well as your expectations were hoping for, as well as you would have liked it to. And this isn't just in this lifetime. So you're given an opportunity at this time to basically, I'm going to be corny here, but again, feel the fear and do it anyway. You know that there's risk involved with putting yourself out there and showcasing an authentic and true component of your identity, your creative self. You know that that comes with risk and vulnerability, and you've already had setbacks, so you're already aware of times where you perceive those risks not to have fully paid off. You're kind of in a better mindset overall in this lifetime or at this time, where you can still see setbacks as something that doesn't deter you, or you don't take them personally anymore. You use them for sort of for, I guess, fodder, basically. You use them to rise to the challenge. This is the Five of Wands in the recent past. You use them to make you more ambitious, to continue to basically apply yourself, and you don't see them as detrimental, the mistakes. You just see them as a fuel, basically, for you to try again and still remain consistent, but overall still remain very true to yourself and still very expressive and busy, basically. So it doesn't slow you down, which is good. The recent past, those Five of Wands, this has looked like a lot of drama, I guess. It actually looks kind of It kind of looks kind of hot actually, but the Five of Wands could be something that you've recently gone through that made you a little hot under the collar. All of these guys, they're not even like fighting each other like we might see in a typical Five of Wands illustration. They're all kind of doing their own thing. They're all motivated by each other. They're all kind of inspired by each other. So there's been a healthy sense of competition all around you. I guess you're surrounded by peers and people that are in the same sort of line of work as you, or share the same goals and aspirations, that like you truly motivate each other. Yeah, there might be a little bit of competition there, or sometimes even envy, but maybe it's the kind of envy that just aspires aspires greatness, or it helps you take things up a notch. And maybe, one of your friends has basically done something that's similar to you, or they've opened the same kind of business as you. And then you're just basically like, oh, okay, this must mean that I'm onto a good thing if people want to emulate it. Something like that. I still see like competition. So I see people that are like, I don't know, there could be some martial arts coming through here, or other kind of competitive fields where you're in a sort of game or a sport. So I see all kinds of hobbies and pastimes being something that has been recently very important to you. The reason why I think these kind of like mediocrity cards are coming through, and failure cards, and like a lack of expertise. Maybe you need to focus on things that you are actually already proficient in, rather than trying to portray anything sort of surface level that can be seen through quite easily. You're so on display at the moment, Scorpio. Stick to your, not comfort zone, but you're very proficient in a certain area or around a topic or a skill set, and you do this with so much confidence, and that's what the Sun card is. So stick to what you're good at. Change course from something that you're just not having a lot of luck with, and stick to what has been going consistently really well for you. And then you don't have to get bored with doing the same thing, because actually the Ace of Wands is here to suggest that around the 17th of the month there is the Cancer new moon, and then on the 18th of July the South Node finally leaves Scorpio. It moves into Libra, and the North Node moves from Taurus into Aries. So this is going to be the start of a new chapter for all of us. Depending on where this is in our birth chart is where it's going to be most heightened and reflected. But with that, like almost like with the click of a fingers, or like quite instantaneously around the 16th to, let's say, the 23rd of July, a new opportunity presents itself. This opportunity may sound like something very literal, like a new job, like in some sort of a lease or an apartment coming up, or a new person that you meet in your life, or something that's very tangible. Or the Ace of Wands can quite often be like this sort of creative spark, like you get a new idea, you feel like this new sense of motivation, you feel more confident, you feel more alive and inspired, and it kind of just hits you. I feel like for a lot of you, it is going to be like something that helps you to rise to the challenge. I see a volcano here in the background, okay? I also see it's some sort of a reptile, I guess, that can withstand like a serious heat. So this is going to be something that feels like it would be like this hot kind of energy. You've been dealing with the heat, you've been dealing with I don't know, maybe more visibility, maybe more focus, maybe more pressure, but a sense of like, it's a good kind of pressure. Like you feel like rising to these challenges, like you respond well to when things get a little bit hot, and when things get a little bit more challenging, like you're actually rising to that more than shying away from it. The Eight of Cups is a message from the higher self to continue to search within. This is a card of soul searching. So when you find what you've been looking for all along, when you align yourself with your purpose, and when you connect to your higher self and live a life of alignment, that's going to offer you continuous satisfaction. Of course, when we achieve goals, we are going to feel satisfied, okay? We're satisfied when we buy the new car, or when we get that person to agree to go out with us, or we kind of, I don't know, achieve something on our career ladder. That's going to give some satisfaction, right? But it's not going to give a permanent sense of satisfaction. Eventually we'll be yearning for something else. It's only when we truly live in alignment with our purpose, or when we, I guess, connect to source essentially. And that's when we're going to have permanent sense of satisfaction. When we have a valuable connection to spirit, that's going to be something that will be more valuable than any other kind of surface level or I guess fleeting sense of satisfaction. And that's what the higher self is saying to you. Let go of the ego a little more and just be yourself. Just live in an authentic, creative self-expression. Keep busy, keep putting yourself out there despite any niggling doubt that you're not special or you're not as good as anybody else. The proof is in the pudding. People are emulating you. There has even been like drama around you trying to emulate you, and that's like proof in and of itself that, you know, you're onto a right thing. And these aligned opportunities wouldn't be presenting themselves to you unless you were living in a frequency match for good things to happen for you. So take all of this as comfort and validation that you are somebody who is moving towards their purpose and connecting to source, and your higher self is saying keep that up, keep going. The the 6 of coins in your environment this month, it's all about support. It's all about people sharing you, sharing your work, and they're kind of you're supported by family, you're supported by friends, anything that you share with another person, be that like the sharing of custody, be that the sharing of a car, the sharing of a role or a title, basically all of these, anything that's shared, a shared asset, a shared responsibility. This is something in your life that's a focus this month in July, and it's going really well. So the Queen of Coins is the outcome of this reading. You are at a place at the end of the month where you're purely just thriving. And it's just as plain as that. You're feeling healthy, you're feeling grounded, you're feeling like you're on the right track. By the end of July, you're in a really good place, a solid place financially too. The Faith card or the Hierophant card, we see that in quite a lot of decks described as Hierophant. It is in your hopes and fears. So there is something that you fear that you've overlooked recently, that you missed, like you didn't get it at the time. And now you're kind of worried that that something has passed you by at this time. That's where I'm getting a bit of fear, like it's too late for you. On the more hopeful side of this card, the Faith card could be that, well, you've learned your lesson. You have learned from past mistakes, and you're hopeful that what's meant for you will come around again for you. That's the month ahead I have for you, Scorpio. If this sounds like anything to do with the relationship, I've got an exclusive love and relationship reading, which I'll link below. That will be found on my Patreon. And I would love if you would consider subscribing at this time. Leave a comment, like, any of those things would be really helpful and greatly appreciated. Take care and have a good month.